It's currently 9:57 a.m. on June 27, 2024. This is a screen recording so that you can see in real time the evidence of demon possession. The evidence of demon possession is seen on its face, by the way, where I am letting you know the spiritual context regarding the criminal activity and the mentally deranged behaviors of group stalkers. But I'm also letting you know, showing you the evidence of their demon possession when I'm showing you the outright departure, what is supposed to be a natural environment, and I am showing you what is impossible with regard to this environment that I'm surrounding by, meaning when I'm coming from a different location and the sun is over me while I am at that location en route to the current location where I'm at now, speaking to Alvarado Gardens, and while I am at the same time at Alvarado Gardens, and you have these stationary presence of the environment speaking to the sun. So again, I'm giving you another angle where you're seeing the exact same scientific impossibility. And it is, again, revealing what is the condition of Dominic Choi, what is the condition of the demon flying the helicopter in this video that I captured today on June 27th, what is the condition of the Caucasian female Marie Front Salon who's walking in the parking lot, what is the condition of the olive skin, I'm assuming he's African-American or at least a fraction of it, but this olive skinned male who's driving the blue Explorer, and you're also looking at the environment that surrounds them, meaning the engineer light that moves across the apartment building while this olive skinned male, and the reason why I'm referencing is for purposes of your identifying them in the video, not because race has anything to do with demon possession or demonic activity. It doesn't, and that's a distraction that Satan utilizes very heavily, and it comes out of the mouths of Satan's servants. Will have you even, and not necessarily on its face, it's not just obvious manners such as the KKK. That's very obvious. It's also speaking to those who are employing race as a narrative, and it's the equally distracting agenda to keep your eyes away from what's actually going on beneath the surface with regard to the spiritual conditions of those who are referencing race, which actually has nothing to do with who Satan uses. Satan will use a neon purple person if that person will bend over and be a vessel for him. Satan is not a racist, okay? Satan does not care about your race. He will use it with regard to whatever it is that he can accomplish in order to divide people, in order to deceive people, to mislead people. But Satan, let me, contrary to people who are deceived with regard to racism, Satan is not a racist in its equal opportunity with regard to demon possession. Just want to point that out to you. And so an ongoing alignment with regard to the distraction of race is things such as Black Lives Matter. And this is what I would assume to be a black male who's exhibiting demon possession, targeting me, terrorizing me, group stalking me, in concert with law enforcement, defying this so-called narrative. Let me be clear, the African-American female in the parking lot at Planet Fitness, this is a demon. She's driving a Tesla. Light activity appears on the Tesla. Watch the video. Engineer lights on the face of her Tesla. It disappears and reappears as though you're driving in the street and sunlight is aiming so low at a horizontal trajectory that's nowhere in position outside of my living room window at Alvarado Gardens. But yet the people of the state are able to create light activity while they're driving on Washington and Central, such that flashing of light occurs on the face of this Tesla that's in alignment with me, stalking in the path, that is, while this light activity coexists with my walking out of the entrance. You're paying attention to what is demonic activity, and that's a black-faced demon. And I put it in those terms because I'm letting you know you can be as black as night or as white as snow. It does not matter if you are translucent. It is the same behavioral pattern, the elements of monitoring. Let me be clear. Demons affiliated with the LAPD, black, olive-skinned, okay, yellow, okay, it does not matter what your race is. It is absolutely irrelevant, and it's also legally irrelevant. This is giving you context, educating regarding what Satan is doing amongst a people indiscriminately. Okay. And I can speak with regard to what is this fallacy as African Americans are exhibiting demon possession in their group stalking with the state. In the same way that Caucasian Americans are exhibiting demon possession and their group stalking with the state. African American demons affiliated with the LAPD exhibiting demon possession and their group stalking with the state. It doesn't matter what your race is while you're a demon stalking in a helicopter. Okay, so I'm just pointing to that's a farce. It's a distraction. It's having you look over there, and that's not it. Okay. Satan is a spirit, and he will occupy whatever vessel is extended to him. In other words, if you do not know the Lord Jesus, you don't have a defense. You don't have protection from Satan. Okay, this is a population that is literally at its wits' end and continuously engages in criminal activity while it is at its wits' end. And that's the substance of the video that I captured that you see at the bottom of the screen. At 9:33 it starts and it ends at 9:42 a.m., which I also pivot to remind you about what is impossible regarding the environment, in addition to the fact that the light source is still over me at the same exact leasing office at 5 p.m. And in addition to the fact that it's in alignment with me inside of the apartment building 1812, number 6, as I documented last week while I'm facing the hillside, which I would not see. It's not going to be over my head at my leasing office. In addition to the fact that it's not going to be over my head at my leasing office while I'm inside of my apartment using the same video as an ongoing evidence speaking to the demonic environment where Satan is dwelling right in your face, and we're amongst the people who are demon possessed, amongst whom Satan is dwelling, targeting another. And it's demonic activity, and their behavior is openly demonic. I'm just pointing it out to you so that you can, oh yeah, because you can clearly see it. So I'm giving you context regarding what it is, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what they know as they do it. And you are going to be prosecuted for that. It's crime committed by the state. All right. And they're all demon possessed, engaging in it. And so the entity is maintaining this light source while the demons are having a field day. That is, as they are monitoring everything that I'm capturing in screenshots, which is going to be uploaded to the Google Drive. This is real-time knowledge. Every picture that I take, every video I review, everything that I'm looking at. So is the demon-possessed entity that's engaged in obsessive stalking conduct, including sitting around in helicopters watching me take screenshot after screenshot. And what they fail to realize, and if they realize that they realize it too late, and they are so gone in Satan, they can't even control themselves, which I want to be clear. You're analyzing the criminal conduct of the stalker, that is the state, that is possessed by Satan, prosecution for terrorism in the U.S., just want to be clear. This is speaking to a public safety concern because you are so possessed, you are so out of your mind, in other words, you are incapable of neutralizing the threat, controlling yourself, cease to engage in the criminal activity. That's also exhibited through the pattern of conduct, through the criminal conduct of the state. Demons pacing all around in an environment, wanting to outwardly appear to themselves and to the world, because the demon possessed are delusional. They wake up in the morning and they lie to themselves about what they are, what they're doing, what they're about, and what their objectives are. They're delusional. You cannot face the fact that your whole existence is based on what someone else is doing, what someone else is accomplishing, what someone else is aiming toward, who someone else is, perhaps who they are in Christ, okay, and who you're not. That's the whole inspiration behind this demonic system. And it's not about what this capitalistic society is putting out and influencing across the globe while you stay asleep, thinking that it's about making so much X amount of dollars. When you lose all that money and this pattern of conduct is underway, and not in a friendly manner, meaning you don't have any so-called constitutional rights anymore, all right, and the entity is engaging in outright dictatorial, form of government here in the U.S. When it gets to that extent, you're being given a warning before it gets there. This is before Satan's scheduled introduction of this system that is currently under play. And while it's currently under play, it's violating my constitutional and human rights. I'm going to prosecute for it, and I'm also going to use it as a megaphone to wake people up. Okay, people are not what they are presenting themselves to be. You're following them on social media. You want to live like them. You're worshiping them, idolizing them, conversing with them, forming your lives around the trajectory of your life and your desires and your goals. And you're doing so, and they serve Satan. They bow to Satan. And many of them, they don't even know what causes them to beat on objects with simultaneity to my movement, because they have a demon on them. And I'm going to prosecute them for that criminal conduct. It's not acting outside of your volition. It's not outside of your knowledge. They know what they're doing. They may not know the spiritual context behind what is wrong with you for doing that. I'm here to let you know. It's because you are demon possessed. All right. But they know full well what they're doing, and the entity seeks to do it secretly. So now that the secret is out, you are looking at the lawlessness, which is the substance of the video that I captured down here at the bottom, starting at 9:33 and ending at 9:42. And so this video, this screen recording, comparing what's going on another day, June 5th, which I referenced in this video, when I'm nowhere near Alvarado Gardens, I'm coming from the DMV. So this is providing context, again, to what the population was doing when I was in Glendale. And I'm in Uber coming to Alvarado Gardens, but at the same time, I'm at Alvarado Gardens, and you're looking at what's impossible, that the sun is maintaining this ubiquitous presence over everyone. If there's no targeted individual, which at this point, we're not even entertaining what is asinine. It's not a genuine or authentic proposition. This is criminal conduct by the state, demonic activity exposed, period. That's where we're at. And so this is speaking to a vivid illustration for the rest of the world for you to learn and recognize Satan. Okay. And it is evidence through the unnatural environment. See this fake sun over me while I'm en route to my location that I currently remain at, which is the video that I'm capturing on the bottom. That's the evidence of Satan. That's the evidence of demon possession. That is the evidence against the people of the state. I'm going to drain the pockets of Planet Fitness. This is the criminal system that's underway. While the entity provides evidence to me, the criminalization of demonic activity, let me be clear, it is the provision, it is literally providence with regard to the ability to secure justice and all the ways in which justice is going to manifest itself. Okay. It is 9:36 in the morning at the top on June 5th, 2024, when I'm en route to Alvarado Gardens. And then what is today, June 27, 2024 at 9:33 a.m. when I'm already at Alvarado Gardens, and 9:36 comes and goes through the duration of this video, and I remain at my leasing office. And you're looking at, first of all, what's not the sun. It has nothing to do with the outward demonstration of demon possession while you see the third party driving the blue vehicle and engineered lights moving across that apartment building. This is letting you know what a demon looks like. It has nothing to do with their race. You know a demon by their conduct. You know them by their deeds, is what scripture says. Okay? This is pointing out some of the deeds that the demon possessed are engaging in at this point in history. This is what the demons are currently doing. Okay. And as I've shown you, as they're exposed, they engage in more and more aggressive behavior. So this is where we're at right now with regard to what is a criminal system that's centered on the coexisting presence and engineered light. And it is occurring on in an environment that is entirely dripping with the presence of Satan. Okay, and you can see it while that which is not possibly the sun is in motion over my head en route to this address location. And while I am at this address and location, and it's stationary over my head. Okay, this is P.O.C. So I want you to look at this video recording. Let's look at, first off, what the entity was doing, and I want you to see the light activity.
As terrorists, they're engaging in the identical pattern of conduct. There's no sunrise through my living room window. There's no sunshine that's going to hit on the building.
So first off, let me, the entity is I'm inside of my office, door closed, windows closed. You're looking at the distance of this helicopter, but yet it's amplified, meaning it's heightened volume of helicopter. It's disrupting my peaceful day inside of my office. I'm hearing an ongoing chorus of helicopter activity. It's interfering my ability to focus when I'm in my office. The windows and the door is closed, and yet as I'm stepping out seconds later, you're looking at the great distance of that helicopter. There's no illusion anymore. The entity flew directly over my head when I'm speaking to the rest of the world, the globe, really, about what Satan is doing amongst the people and amongst the government in the United States. A demon-possessed group stalker flew over my head. So there's no illusion regarding what's going on. This is the P.O.C. And I'm pointing out the ways in which you are identifying the demonic behavior by demons. The demon is at a distance in a helicopter, and it's disrupting. It's heard inside of my office, which is the evidence of the demonic. I've referred to it as amplification. I step out, I capture video. There's the distance of the helicopter, and you have I'm also going to point out the entity is using multiple helicopters at that, but I've already shown you the evidence of amplification. It is nonetheless amplification. Even when they fly over my office, hovering over me, everything is amplified. That's what demons are employing with regard to the pattern of conduct. Okay, so just want to point that out. At a great distance, the helicopter activity is disrupting my workday, which is ongoing harassment by an entity. That's speaking to the prosecution, but I'm going to point out the demonic behavior. So amplified helicopter activity, I step out, no helicopter seen. You can see one in the distance. That's group stalking, crossing path. Under a light source that's not the sun, which you're going to remember because this video up here at the top is speaking to that's not possibly the sun, where you are unmistakably identified as a demon. Oh, demons are using helicopters to terrorize American citizens. This is this is an inevitable conclusion. Okay, this is what's going on amongst the demon possessed. And this is the same character. I am not exaggerating, not being hyperbolic. You are aware of the demon possession, the psychopath that is consuming and animating Dominic Choi. This is the grounds of disqualification and permanent removal from his position. As you are exhibiting the demon possession, this is the same identical spirit. This is affecting the real-time behavior and decision making. This is how you get, by the way, public corruption at this size. But this is speaking to my ability to point out the personalized areas where Dominic Choi and why he's going to be removed. I'm giving you an upfront, up close personal dissection of his mentally deranged state while he is of the same identical condition, while it is being mirrored through the population that is demon possessed and is group stalking. That's why I'm letting you know what's wrong with Dominic Choi while I'm subject to this pattern of conduct, which is demonic activity. Okay, so that's relevant, and that's how you know in Dominic Choi he's being exposed while and I'm not only is he being exposed, I'm going point by point with regard to what is wrong with him while he is demon possessed and how it's affecting what is wrong with him in that position. You are mentally deranged. You are ill-equipped and disqualified by virtue of being of this condition. No one of that demented mind state has any position in the role of chief of police. And you are aware of it. It's directly relevant while you're looking at engineer light moving across the apartment building, which is no product of sunlight ever, nor is it possibly any even occurring under the sun while you're looking at the video at the top at 9:36 in the morning. Okay? This is directly relevant. You can replace the name of Dominic Choi with any other third party and or state actor. This is dissecting what is the condition, the mind state, speaking to the public safety concern, where American citizens are being subject to what is terrorism in the U.S. And this condition and this public safety concern only serves to intensify and rise. The demons, as I've shown you, they get more aggressive. They become more hostile as you speak the truth to what they're doing and what is wrong with them as they do it. Even as I utter the name of Satan, who is engaging in, who is at the forefront of this criminal activity, all right, who is animating a population, the demon possessed, those who are filled with the spirit of Satan are exceedingly hostile. And you see it personified through this video that is capturing terrorism that I'm subject to in the workplace. Okay, and it's directly tethered to what I'm subject to when I go to the gym. This is the pattern of conduct that's underway. They're maintaining the elements of monitoring. Okay, so this is what relevant, and I want to give that. So just
P.O.C. Stalking in helicopter, and the fake sun is over me, and engaging in surveillance regarding what I'm working on my phone, pacing and alignment. Fake sun over me.
Okay, so the position of this light source and where I'm at the top, it's currently, I started this video again at 9:33 in the morning. So we're at 15 seconds, 3 minutes from now, when I'm in the middle of this video, in other words, this light source is over me. Well, remember, there's video documentation and images captured before this video on June 5th, 2024, before 9:36 in the morning. I started shooting this video, which is speaking to the outright absence of any sun over my head, over, in other words, the property of Alvarado Gardens, or over the leasing office, over my head at this position, contrary to what I'm capturing on this day, as what is right before the exact same time. Okay, that is showing you the evidence of the demon possession of those who are stalking in helicopters, the demon possession of those who are living in this environment, living all around the environment, traveling through the environment, coming onto the grounds, exhibiting demon possession while engineer light moves across the apartment building. I want you to understand how it is speaking to what is wrong with the entire population, what's going on with the entire population, the mentally deranged state of the entire population. This is something that is a very much a public safety concern, and they do not want you to know about it. They do not want you to know about it. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. This is impossible that it would be over me here at Alvarado in front of my leasing office while I am 9:33. I'm not even on Clifford yet. At 9:36 is when I start shooting this video. I'm on the 2 freeway. I'm arriving to, matter of fact, while we're doing it, let's go ahead and just look at where I was at 9:33, because I'm nowhere near, go back, nowhere near, I don't want to say nowhere near, but I'm approaching, and I'm not on Clifford Street yet. 9:33, this is why you document, okay? And because you're not going to debate with Satan. Satan is a liar. Satan's demon-possessed group stalkers are liars, okay? This is why they engage in criminal defamation. Okay, so 9:30 in the morning, this is group stalking on the freeway, on the 2 freeway, and I'm documenting crossing a path, light activity creation. This is the light source at 9:29 in the morning. This is not over Alvarado Gardens. It's not over the leasing office. This is patently absurd with regard to what is blatant stalking with a light source and the conduct that is not coincidentally facilitating it. Accordingly, there is no sun that's going to be over Planet Fitness through the windows of the Planet Fitness while I'm showing you the stationary maintenance of this so-called sun through my living room window. There's no provision that it's going to be seen through the windows of the Planet Fitness off of Washington and Central. Okay, so while I'm documenting the people of the state, specifically Planet Fitness and all those who are engaging in this criminal system while I went to the gym this morning, reference and go ahead and disregard, because everybody with speaker companies going to federal prison, okay? This is how pathetic Satan is. They're engaging in Title 18 criminal activity, using the business, a third-party business, as the means for engaging in that criminal conduct, and they're going to federal prison for it. Moving on. So 9:34 in the morning, I am still on the 2 freeway. I am capturing crossing a path, and this is while the entity is maintaining presence while I'm on, indeed, the freeway. This is captured at 9:34. This video is starting at 9:33 in the morning, stationary presence of a light source that's not necessarily moving like it is while I am on the 2 freeway and Uber is going the speed limit. This light source is maintaining this presence in alignment with me, coming from the DMV where it's over my head at 8:47 in video, prolonged video. Over my head at 9:03, 9:08, Glendale Police crossing path. It's not over Alvarado Gardens. That's conclusive. I also show you what you can see through the windshield, see it on the body of the vehicles, see it through the windows of the buildings. There's no mistaking, and there is no sun that is maintaining ubiquitous presence over everyone, everywhere, all day long, like I'm capturing. So in this environment that is directly exposing the fact that you're demon possessed and that you're group stalking, the entity will engage in acrobats and psychotic stalking in helicopters. That's literally what this entirely defeated demon possessed group stalking, that is the state of California, is providing while I'm capturing video. And then let's just sit back and review the evidence of what Satan is doing and what's fully exposed about Satan. That's literally what's going on here. Okay, it's a tutorial. This is a tutorial. And what is an inescapable removal of Dominic Choi based on his exposed secret. The fact that he is mentally deranged, he is ill-equipped, he is disqualified, not only based on this criminal conduct that's occurring on his watch, which you're not ignorant about while you are participating in the pattern, by the way, but because of what is your condition while you're conforming, mirroring the identical behavioral pattern. And it is very disturbing that it is not only criminal, but it is of the satanic. It is legally relevant. And I'm letting you know about his secrets. And so I don't have to have a psychology degree to let you know what is mentally deranged. That's what's wrong with Dominic Choi. That's what's being mirrored by those affiliated with the LAPD. You can fill in a name in the blank. Fill a name in the blank, because that's just a template. I'm going to let you know what's the uniform position, the mentally deranged state, the psychopathic personality disorder regarding the demon possessed who are group stalking. And it's also exhibited as they acted out their behavior, shows what's wrong with them mentally. Okay, this is where I'm at 9:34. I'm starting this video on the bottom today at 9:33 in the morning. At 9:35, the light source is seen through the driver's side window of this vehicle. And this is coming from the DMV where the light source is remaining over me. It's over me as I get inside of the Uber vehicle in Glendale. And so the entity is maintaining this light source while I'm traveling and coming to this location. So there's no question regarding that. So this is, want to point this out. This is the entity that's monitoring, that's stalking in the path outside of the door and knocking on it and under a light source. So just want to point that out. So this is clearly P.O.C. This is the light source that's over me at 9:15 at the Glendale DMV. There's no sun that's going to be over me as I'm capturing this video at 9:33. This is obvious. This is obvious. I walked down from my office, captured video, and the entity flew directly over my head while I'm speaking to terrorism in the U.S. Like I said, we're beyond the basics now. I'm showing you you need to become aware about what's going on in the United States, what's going on in the world, okay? And what Satan is doing amongst a people. And I'm prosecuting with regard to every aspect whereby this entity is engaging in this criminal system while I'm at work, while I'm in subject to a corporate invasion of privacy. That's the government invading your privacy with a population. All right. And it's also relevant the ways in which they're engaging in invasion of privacy, the ways in which they're engaging in surveillance on the venue of the internet, the ways in which they're engaging in group stalking in relevant position. Right. And when you'd like to do so using helicopters, I'm going to let you know it's a direct indicator regarding what's wrong with the leader of that law enforcement agency, Dominic Choi. And you know that beyond a reasonable doubt, by the way, if you were to prosecute in court regarding demon possession, beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. But that's not what we're prosecuting. I'm prosecuting tangible evidence based on criminal conduct. Okay, tangible. Everybody can see it. Everybody can hear it. Everybody witnesses it. All right. And this is the light source that's over me. So that's what I'm documenting, the amplified helicopter activity, while I am at the same time on the 2 freeway, getting off, not anywhere near Alvarado Gardens, but yet it's over my head. Okay. Getting off. This is the exit 12 or 42, that says, off of the 2 freeway. Approaching the Glendale. This is Clifford that Uber's getting ready to turn on. Right? So this is the light source that's outside of the passenger side of the window. This is not over Alvarado Gardens. This is at 9:35. I'm still not here. This video, I'm speaking for 2 minutes. And the light source is not over Alvarado Gardens while I'm on Glendale turning on to Clifford. This is the light source right over me, and you can see it through the driver's side window of the third party that's crossing path on Glendale. Okay, this is not seen through any driver's window on Glendale Boulevard. This is not over the DMV at Glendale, hovering over the DMV, including as I leave, and it's clearly not remaining over the DMV building. This is asininity, what the entity is engaging in, and the unnatural environment. It's entirely impossible. You see that light source move? It's moving, and it's gone. Period. The documentation, as like I've shown you, for example, a police chase on the freeway while you're looking at this fake sun staying stationary over me all day long at Alvarado Gardens, but yet through the windshields, through the buildings and the windows, through the car lots that are selling cars. What do you refer to them as? Car lots, the car dealerships. You can see the light source through the windshields you could see it, and it's right over them while they're showing you the car chase via helicopter. But yet I'm showing you what's a contrast to that. That's not the natural environment. That's letting you know what's going on in the world. And it's not a natural environment. You've been given an illusion to condition your mind, to keep you asleep, to keep you ignorant. Not only am I showing what's going on with regard to the unnatural environment, I'm also showing you the behavior that's occurring in this unnatural environment. And it is your up close and personal leeway into the demented mind state of those that are of that condition. And so you're talking about like a domino effect. I'm letting you know what's going on, what's wrong with the mind state of Karen Bass. I'm letting you know what's wrong with the mindset of Robert Luna. I'm letting you know what's wrong with the mindset of the entire departments that are documented group stalkers. This is a statewide system. That's how you have a pattern of conduct amongst the population. That's how you have that. There's no sun that's going to be over me as I'm documenting on this day at 11. There's no sun. It's 10:24. There's no sun over the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court at 8303 Haven Avenue. This is how you get that. That's how you get it. It's a statewide pattern, and it's demonic. And you also see that while the elements of monitoring remain underway. And while an entity of this condition is exposed for its condition and its criminal activity, they become more hostile. They become more aggressive. They become more violent. They become more desperate and obsessive. That's a public safety concern. Now, they are doing so, stalking and terrorizing and harassing as an entity, okay? Again, the people of the state hiding, they're not hiding, but they're hiding from camera, if you will, in their apartments. They're fully engaged in terrorizing as the same demon-possessed entity who's group stalking in the same unnatural environment. While you're seeing the fake sun over me at the Alvarado Gardens apartments, it's letting you know what they're all doing at Alvarado Gardens apartments. Okay, that's the ongoing prosecution. The whole population is group stalking you. The whole population is going to be prosecuted. And I'm going to expose you for Satan, whom you're serving, when you're engaging in this system that's not a secret anymore. And the audacity of you to try to put a muzzle over my mouth to threaten my safety, my reputation, my well-being, my career in this country because you're hostile, because I will not bow to Satan. I will not, under any circumstances, participate in this sick criminal conduct. I'm not going to be a part of this matrix. I won't. I will enforce my rights against it, and I'll tell everybody else about it. Okay. And so I want to speak to what you're witnessing here. This is absolutely impossible. And while they're engaging in criminal conduct, it's blowing the whistle on everyone else, including Planet Fitness, who I'm going to prosecute. I'm draining their pockets. This is just a matter of speaking to the civil and criminal means of enforcing your rights. While this entity engaged in damage of personal property, knowing my purse is in the car. It's not about don't hide your purse because you don't want people. They already know. They know how much money is in your wallet. They know how much is in your bank account. Okay? This is all surrounding an ongoing illusion, this whole false presentation about what's actually occurring on what actually people know. You have what is the reality. This is a reality check. And an entity that's group stalking you and engages in any type of additional harms, you go to federal prison for that. And I'm laughing because I mean that with every breath of my body. You're going to sit behind a cell. And so I documented those who were group stalking at Planet Fitness while they were doing exactly what I was documenting today. This is what they were doing when this entity broke into my car. They were sitting right around, stalking in the parking lot with flashing lights, just sitting all, oh, what happened? And they're all group stalking. They're all monitoring, just like they are now when they're acting out with helicopter, driving all around an engineer light, moving across and these are the entity that rise in aggression, rise in hostility while you expose them. That's what breaking into your car is. It's not a random act of theft. There is no randomness. I just want to let you know that this is a reality of what's very targeted, very targeted. Okay, so I just want to point that out again. So I want to capture this. That's an entity stalking in the path, knocking on the door. They know exactly what I'm talking about, what I'm doing. All right, and the same is regarding the text messages that Speaker Companies is participating in. This is, again, that foolishness. They're engaging in the criminal there's no question about what they're doing. They engage in the criminal conduct with lawlessness. Maria Solis Alvarez is going to ask for leniency when she's sentenced to federal prison. And the federal judge that's witnessing this exposure of her criminal conduct is going to recall the lawlessness that's exhibited when you engage in Title 18 criminal activity and you are fully apprised of the fact that you're exposed and you're acting with that state with impunity. Impunity directly rebuts any illusion that someone is going to hear you in court when you are asking for leniency. It directly rebuts the any consideration of it. And that's why I'm pointing it out. Do not forget the tone that's maintained by the state and the people of the state every step of the way. Shedding tears in federal court is going to be outright disregarded. Period. Flying over the top of my head while I'm exposing you. Your tears in court will be outright disregarded, okay? And the impunity with which this entity engages in terrorism and doing so, and it's so nauseating and despicable that here in the U.S., this hypocrisy is hiding under this veneer of what's supposed to be a polished, civilized, dignified society. And we're not, and I'm not happy to point that out. But I am distinct. Not everybody in the U.S. serves Satan. Not everybody in the U.S. hates those that are abroad. Not everybody in the U.S. is aware of, first of all, or complicit to what I can't control what my government is doing, how they're terrorizing other people, other nations. I can't control that. So I'm speaking to the reality that not everybody here is complicit with what I'm subject to. I'm subject to terrorism by my own government. So this is speaking to what they're doing across the seas to other nations, to other countries, to other peoples. Okay, so this is 10:29 in the morning, and so I am doing a lot of discussion. I'm going to digress. What you're looking at above is the evidence, the absence of any sun that's over Alvarado Gardens, but yet you're looking at the presence of the light source while I'm stationary at Alvarado Gardens, which is what I'm capturing on video, while the entity is, again, most relevantly, most notably, stalking in helicopters and stalking amongst engineered light. And this is, again, while I am documenting, it's directly incriminating and it's relevant to the damages at Planet Fitness and AutoZone, the deepest pockets. At that plaza where the entity was engaging in group stalking, those are the deepest pockets. And where they were group stalking, as I'm documenting the people, the entity engages in more acts of terrorism. Right? Everybody at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison. It's directly relevant with regard to the impunity that the entity acts with. It's directly relevant and bearing upon how long you're going to sit in federal prison because you are going to federal prison. It's directly relevant to whether or not you remain a threat to your minor children who will be removed from your custody while you acted with this lawlessness, engaging in terrorism with all abandon. And that is directly relevant when the entity stalking me in a helicopter. It's directly relevant to whether or not you will get custody of your children whom you employed in this state terrorism, knowing that it's being documented. I'm just speaking to, this is how you're going to prosecute. This is what I'm providing, the legal analysis in the way that you would document and you would note and analyze any other stalker. So now you've got the state and you're going to analyze everything that the state is doing directly and vicariously. And all of those threats to your life, harassment done expressly and impliedly. Okay. So this is speaking to, and you got to keep stalking outside the door. Hi, how can I help you?
Where do I put this?
You can put it in the box.
Not the drop box?
It's okay, I'll take it. Thank you.
Okay.
Is everything okay?
Oh, yeah, just...
Is that what you were trying to tell me when you were waving hi, that you had a work order?
Oh, no, I was just saying hi.
Oh, okay.
No, the front half of our apartment, there's no power.
Uh-huh.
And then the one little drawer It's like off the track.
No power in the front of the apartment. Okay, kitchen drawer needs to be fixed. Got it.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good day. Okay, let me be clear. This is the entities in the background sounding helicopter activity, the demons, and he knows that he's being documented. This is the one you're getting ready to see on video right now, exhibiting demon possession and communicating a threat to me using my job as a property manager as a means to engage in the elements of monitoring, directly relevant to how long he's sitting in federal prison. And remember, he does not act as an individual. He's acting in the shoes of the state, exhibiting the mentally deranged state that they maintain while the elements of monitoring are obsessively underway, even as you are facing the fact that you're going to serve time in federal prison. Only a psychopath, only a mentally deranged person would continue to engage in that which is contrary to your interest. This is speaking to a point where you are breaking from reality and the ability to not harm other people. This is the public safety concern. Okay, that's exactly what I just documented right now. Okay, so and they know full well what I'm documenting. So he comes to my door with a work order, which is a threat to my life while you're monitoring. And you know that I'm documenting. They know that I'm documenting all of them. He knows in particular that he's about to be made an example out of. But this demon with a straight face engaged in the criminal activity, and then they want to duck and dodge. That's a psychopath. You're delusional. You fly in circles in a helicopter, letting the world know that you're demon possessed. If you thought that was going to be a secret, surprise, surprise, it's not. And then you engage in more of that criminal and psychotic conduct after you did it on tape. That's a psychopath. You're breaking from reality. I'm letting you know the public safety concern, the mentally deranged state that you are necessarily in while you engage in this system. So above, like I said, that's the P.O.C. group stalking, still group stalking while you're coming and giving me a work order. And the entity, a psychopath, does so. This is the life-threatening of passive-aggressive conduct, and also it's desperate. The entity would rather me go off on a tangent and talk about that. I'm pivoting off of it. The entity is engaging in the ongoing obsessive pattern of conduct, and all of the impunity that one within the entity acts with is directly relevant to how long Maria Solis Alvarez, sitting at Duarte right now, engaged in surveillance on the video of the internet. That's relevant to how long she's sitting in federal prison. And I don't even believe she's a natural-born citizen. She's been here for a long time. She's an aged third party. Nonetheless, granted the privilege to be here, where you abuse that privilege and you engage in terrorizing an American citizen, you're not an American. You are engaging in un-American conduct with the corrupt government, and you're going to be shipped back to wherever you came from. And I believe it's Mexico, across the border. So she's going right back there. Okay. And as clearly as she hears me stating that, while she exercises fictitious authority in the role of a manager, a superior, where that is a third party company, and they're terrorizing you with the state who's flying over my office in helicopters all day. Do you understand how you are surrounded? You will not avoid time in federal prison. You will not. So this is what terrorism looks like in America. And I'm speaking to those who are witnessing the exposure of America. And I am also speaking on behalf of those who do know the Lord Jesus, who are not serving Satan, because this is the inspiration for it. Even though they make a decision every day to engage in this criminal conduct, you're going to be held liable for it, period. But the terrorism that they are engaging in across the seas, we're as an American, I'm not necessarily informed about everything that's occurring across the borders here. A lot of it is secretly done. There's a lot of false narratives that are put out, propaganda here in the U.S., okay? Conditioning the population. I'm speaking to that. We are not necessarily aware of what our government is actually doing. So I just want to speak to that. Not everybody that's in this country is an enemy of yours. Okay. I am in this country, an American, and I do believe in the Constitution, and I do believe you're witnessing. I fully am. Whatever side of the law you fall on, you're not exempt from it. And I'm going to enforce my rights, and I'm literally going to prosecute you. And I'm also going to expose you while I do that. And I am I'm testifying to the fact that, and I'm not the only person in this country that's in this position. So I can, being in this country is not equal to or tantamount to terrorizing other countries, other nations, whether you know the Lord Jesus or not. You're talking about, I don't advocate murder. I don't advocate going around I don't advocate, but that's what they're doing here. As an American citizen, I'm subject to this terrorism. So that's all I'm stating as I don't like to call myself a victim, but one who is subject to it. This is what they're doing across the border. This is what they're doing in other nations. And I know it for a fact because I'm sitting here and I am witnessing the propaganda that's put out in order to keep people under the false guise of innocence. And it appears just like this, coming into my office and giving me a work order while I am in the workplace subject to terrorism by the state. And that is the state. That's the propaganda. You're giving a narrative regarding, oh my goodness, there was a car accident today. Oh, there's a car chase on the freeway right now. And you are looking at the system that's underway. There's no sun that's over that was Manchester, and we're in downtown LA. And I'm speaking to the screenshots that I captured. This is an unnatural environment. All of this is an illusion, in other words. It's all smoke and mirrors, literally. It's smoke and mirrors. So I'm speaking to the reality that not everybody in this country is of that condition. I am speaking to what people need to be made aware of, you need to be cognizant of. And there is not much time for you to remain or feign ignorance or sit by passively while there are things going on that will affect your life, your future, whether you even have a life. It's getting worse by the second. And this is nothing to be fearful of. It's something to be aware of. Okay. It is currently 10:37 in the morning. The entity is engaging in what is the pathetic acts of monitoring, knocking on the leasing office. You're knocking on my door and you're monitoring me. Okay. That's what the people of the state are doing. Let's document it.
Good morning. I accidentally locked myself out of my apartment. Would you be able to let me in?
I'm gonna need a moment. I'm in a meeting right now. Do you have a few? I would. Okay, because we don't really do that. But I don't have a problem letting you in. But I'm gonna need some time. Okay. Thank you. That is again P.O.C. I'm laughing not because it's funny. It's so pathetic. You engage in this circus conduct with helicopters and this engineer light, and then you're talking about what is engaging in efforts to distract while at the same time the elements of monitoring remain under the way. So nonetheless, this is all relevant to what you're going to look at. And this is the light source that's not over Alvarado Gardens while you're looking at crossing and path conduct. And I am at coming off of the 2 freeway on June 5th. I went to the Glendale DMV. And so while you see this engineered light, this is strategic placement. This third party that came into my office right now with a work order, who was group stalking with LAPD, and he is exhibiting ongoing impunity while he comes now to engage in monitoring via, oh my goodness, we don't have power. I want to be clear, the same demon-possessed entity where a fake sun is rising and setting, literally affecting the power in the apartment. I'm not going to stop documenting. The demons come onto the ground, repairing it, monitoring the whole time, fully engaged in surveillance on the venue of the internet. So understand how it is the ongoing P.O.C. This demon was engaged in strategic placement. The same time the entity is sounding helicopter and I step out under a light source that's not possibly the sun in an entirely different location, not over this apartment complex at the same time. This is how you know their condition. And this demon comes and gives a work order, threatening my life while the entity is in the background humming helicopter activity. That's the psychotic and the life-threatening level of passive-aggressive behavior. But it's also not, when you break it down, it's actually not passive-aggressive at all when you're stalking in helicopters. Okay, that's an express threat to your life and your safety and your well-being. This entity also documented engaging in what is, again, breaking into my car. That's the entity's criminal act on behalf of the state. Kidnapping, the entity's criminal act in concert with the people of the state. All right, so this is not only terrorism on its face, it's also terrorism while you are mindful and cognizant of the criminal acts, the acts of criminal obstruction of justice and harassment as a corrupt government that is hostile to its exposure. Okay, so this is what the rest of the world, you also need to learn, as I am an American citizen and I'm exposing the American government and the terrorism that I'm subject to while I do that. Amongst those who would like to present themselves as Americans, you're not an American citizen, because that's not what this country actually stands for and what it's actually about. Okay, so I actually do believe in the Constitution. In other words, by believe, I mean I actually advocate for the laws that are on the books. I studied law. I like rule and order. It's a good thing, okay? And it's something that is effective when it's actually reigning, governing a people and a body. But that's not what's going on. You're talking about abusing and literally perverting and masquerading as though law and order rules the day, and it could not be farther from the truth. So this is all shown and relevant to what is this unnatural environment that surrounds me while I am again at the top en route to this location where I'm present at the bottom. This is speaking to demon possession. This is what Satan is doing amongst a people. So that's what I want to speak to, what I'm documenting as I walk outside of my office.
P.O.C. Stalking in helicopter and the fake sun is over me. And engaging in surveillance regarding what I'm working on my phone, pacing and alignment. fake son over me, stalking by helicopter. And he's documented group stalking very heavily with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. He's in the same parking lot in the middle of the afternoon while this fake son is in the same position. He's with Marie Front Salon. They're both going to federal prison. He's engaged in strategic placement while the demons are acting in sync. So the demons will fly over. He's in a building. He walks out, moves the vehicle, engineer light across the building. 6ZXK642, again, Marie Front Salon. And this is exactly what the entity is doing at Planet Fitness. Every license plate that I've documented, they're going to be prosecuted as terrorists. They're engaging in the identical pattern of conduct. There's no sunrise through my living room window. There's no sunshine that's going to hit on the building. 8RUL397, this is a psychopath, and this mindset is threatening your life. That's P.O.C. That's a threat while monitoring with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. So is Marie Front Salon. Engineer light moves all across the building. And then waving hi to. That's exactly what Universal Waste engages in. It's not the product of sunlight. And these are demons who are sitting around looking at what I'm examining on my phone, and they engage in this lawlessness. These demons, these psychopaths, exhibit a threat that's animating demons such as Dominic Choi.
Okay, so 1 second. I want you to see that light activity again. I tried to zoom in, but the angle of the camera missed it. So it's also as he opens and closes his door. And remember, this isn't even the sun. The light source is over me while I'm coming from the DMV. So again, I've already pointed that out, but this is a vivid illustration. And there's no question regarding where the light source is. You can see it through the windshield of the vehicles on the property. It's in no position to be over the 2 freeway. This is the windshield speaking to the back of this vehicle, which is in opposite direction from Glendale. So it's not, in other words, where you clearly see the object, it's also not magically over behind you at the same time that it's in front of you. In other words, while it's outside of the living room window and I go to my bedroom window, the sun is not also outside of the bedroom window. Okay? It's one or the other. So this is speaking to, you can see it through the windshield of the vehicles that are crossing path in this parking lot. But yet at the same time, I'm coming on the 2 freeway, and it's in a distinctly different location. And so this is while he opens and closes the door. Just want you to see that. While this demon opens and closes the door, everything he's doing is about monitoring me. Sorry. Oopsie. Apologies. Let me go back. Oh. Whew.
Talking very heavily with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. He's in the same parking lot in the middle of the afternoon while this
so
fake son
that's
is in the
engineered light that moves across the apartment building while a third party creates activity by opening and closing the door under that which isn't even the sun. And that's also not sunlight, obviously, but this isn't even the sun. This is an outward demonstration of demon possession. So let me zoom out again so that you can see this is engineered light appearing behind the wall. That which is not even the sun, it's in a distinctly different location, including in, for example, Ontario on June 5th. I'm in an entirely different region, but I'm showing you as I come from Glendale DMV in an Uber back to the apartment complex. But when I don't go to DMV, the fake sun remains over me at the apartment complex at the same time. Okay, so here you go, walking out. And as I walk out, a demon that's stalking in the path walks right on out to cross path. Oops. Oh my goodness, sorry. Just zooming in and zooming out. Calm down. Okay. Alrighty.
pacing in alignment. Fake son over me.
All right.
Working very heavily with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. He's in the same parking lot in the middle of the afternoon.
In case you can see that, I don't know if you, because it's he opens the door very quickly, and it's along the building as he opens the door. Yeah, and I moved the camera at the same time, so I'm just going to let it play again.
He's going to federal prison. He's in the same parking lot in the middle of the afternoon while this fake son is in the same position. He's with Marie Front Salon. They're both going to federal prison. He's engaged in strategic...
This is a person that's demonstrating that they're demon possessed, and your group stalking, and so you're going to be prosecuted for that terrorism. This third party is the one that comes knowing that he's being documented, being used as an example, and he comes and gives me a work order talking about his power is out. The entity that is acting through, for example, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, who I documented, fully capable of losing power, and I put that in air quotes. You're dealing with the demonic. Rising and setting a fake sun at one address, power loss in your apartment, and you're given examples given explanations for it on the news by the people of the state, by the way, talking about it's the heat. Oh, it's the heat. That's why you're losing power. I just want to be clear. This is conditioning the population for the ways in which our rights are going to be affected as things become more and more extreme with regard to the environment, with regard to its effect on your ability to, for example, to buy food. When you're talking about things, these are not naturally occurring things. These are not things that are occurring with regard to failure of your technology or your internet connection. These are not things that are resulting from a genuine malfunction regarding your power. There's also no coincidence when you're group stalking with engineered light under a fake sun with a state in a helicopter, and I'm using you specifically as an example. So I just want to point that out. That's just on its face very obvious. Okay, that's very, very suspect. All right. But this is speaking to the greater context. A lot of the things that are happening and that have already happened and that will continue to happen. This is based on what's already in action and operation in this country. And you're given narratives for it. Oh, it's because of climate control and it's just going to get hotter. And then you've got the things that are going to limit, or I will say directly affect our ability to access certain things or to enjoy certain luxuries that we have. And I'm just getting to the ways in which it's conditioning us in America, well, across the country, but in America in particular, and things such as, oh, the power is out. They're able to directly remove your power. So in the ways that I'm showing you this heavy duty obsessive group stalking and state surveillance, the same is with regard to whatever it is that you have and the luxuries that you enjoy while you're currently under the system and you're unaware of it. Okay. And so where you would ordinarily call for a repair for something and it's not a genuine malfunction. Okay. And I'm not talking about things if you know that you broke something and you clearly need to fix. I'm talking about just opening your mind and becoming aware regarding the circumstances that are governing everyday life, especially here in the US, and the real-time operation of Satan in the environment, and using those companies, using the state, using the government, using the people who surround you. And so that's the reality. And that's the malice at play when you're coming and giving a work order and you're a terrorist acting with the LAPD. Okay. The demon possessed entity. All right. So this is the reality check regarding an alleged failure in power where LADWP, a documented group stalker with that same state that's flying over my office under a fake sun and doing so, providing evidence at 10:49 in the morning. This is the entity that is engaging in surveillance on the venue of the internet. So always be mindful of all the facts. Speaker Companies is engaging in surveillance on venue of the internet. Speaker Companies is only relevant because I'm going to prosecute them for the workplace aspect of terrorism. Okay. So nonetheless, the entity is engaging in claiming, oh, I've got a power failure and I need you to, in other words, I need you to stop capturing this video right now. And I need you to tend to this right now. You're talking about what is ongoing manufacturing calamities, manufacturing, what is, oh, my toilet is clogged. I have witnessed the demonic and affecting real time the operation of whatever it is that you're using. So I just want to point that out. Your lights turning on and off. Okay, the presence of demons, and that's not a failure. It's not that you need a new light bulb. Okay, so it's things of that nature. So I just want to point that out, and I'm not going to stop from documenting. And it's directly relevant to his time in federal prison, and he represents the people. So nonetheless, this is the light source. While he is coming and engaging in what is an act of impunity on behalf of the people, everybody's time in federal prison is directly affected by it. While he is coming to engage in more monitoring, while he's aware of the fact, while engaging in surveillance, that he is being used as an example showing you what demonic activity looks like and what criminal conduct in concert with the government looks like in the US. He's aware of that, as are all of the entity. Okay, so you can see the light source through the back windshield of Sam Rickman's vehicle. And this is, again, impossible to be the natural environment while I'm showing you my position on a different day at the same time when I am passing by, it looks like exit 12. That's what that is. That's exit 12 on the 2 freeway. And the light source is outside of my window when I'm in the backseat of an Uber. That is not going to be seen through the rear windshield of Samuel Rickman's car, who was crossing path in concert with the LAPD, who are flying over my office right now because the entity is engaged in surveillance on the venue of the internet. They're also sex offenders who are keeping me under surveillance when I'm physically nude, engaging in private personal activity that they have no consent or right to invade in, and keep me under surveillance for no legitimate purpose whatsoever. There is no lawful basis to engage in group stalking with the people of the state, by the way. And this is all inspired because they serve Satan, and their mentally deranged state while they do so is directly probative to what is wrong with leaders such as Dominic Choi. He's not a real leader. This is a demon that needs to be removed and plucked out of that position. That's also why I'm exposing this, and this is how you are cleansing a government and a population, by the way. It's occurring on the watch of these who serve Satan and their the fruits of their condition and their criminal conduct. It is federal group stalking and monitoring. The impunity with which this is showing the mentally deranged and the malice with which a corrupt leader such as Dominic Choi engages in that pattern of conduct. It's occurring on his watch. He knows that he's being specifically named in the documentation. The entity is engaging in the criminal act with simultaneity as I speak about them and their condition. This is a threat posed directly by the government, and Dominic Choi's mental state needs to be known throughout this nation, and that's why, understand, he's going to be removed. And he is serving for a template. That's how all of those who have been exposed, they're going to be removed from the positions. They're learning about what their fate is while their criminal activity is fully advertised, not only in this country, but in the world. And it is relevant to what I'm showing you with regard to the unnatural environment and the demonic behavior that this population engages in as I'm documenting it today, the 27th. In an environment that's not even attributable under any circumstances as being the product of sunlight. I have the evidence of what's not even possibly the sun, and it's also here at the same location over me at 4, 5, 6, 7 in the evening, where the same demonic light activity is coexisting with the stalking and helicopters. The entity is maintaining this light source again as I am en route to this location. So I'm going to stop narrating and show you what is going on while the entity is stalking in the path, and this third party is group stalking with engineered light. This is terrorism via directed light. This is analogous to what the entity fills my apartment with that you see appearing on my ceilings and on my bedroom walls, appearing and disappearing, creating the flashing light conduct. This is the same conduct while I'm outside and you're looking at group stalkers that are pacing all around and group stalkers that are stalking in helicopter. They are in sync.
K642, again, Marie Front Salon. And this is exactly what the entity is doing at Planet Fitness. Every license plate that I've documented, they're going to be prosecuted as terrorists. They're engaging in the identical pattern of conduct. There's no sunrise through my living room window. There's no sunshine that's going to hit on the building. 8RUL397, this is a psychopath, and this mines.
And that's the license plate of the third party who came to my office to engage in more monitoring, engaging in surveillance on the venue of the internet in concert with that entity that just flew over and amplified helicopter activity while I'm inside of my office enforcing my constitutional and human rights. And not advertising, but exposing what Satan is doing at this time in history. And it's directly relevant to the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, you need to know about what's going on, and those who shall surrender will end up surrendering your life based on what you are learning. Satan is real. All right, Satan is also interested in keeping you. Let me be clear. This is evidence of enslavement. These people are enslaved. They are so enslaved, they're going to serve time in federal prison and lose everything that they thought they acquired while engaging in this lawlessness. They're going to lose everything. They're enslaved. So those that will come to the Lord Jesus Christ upon recognizing that he is real, all right? He is very real and he reigns. And no devil and no demon-possessed person can ever contend with the Lord Jesus, okay? No one, all right? So this is the entity maintaining this light source, and this is the one, he's going to federal prison. I'm only laughing because I just letting you know about what's going to happen, what his fate is, and this impunity is attributed to the whole entity. This is what I'm subject to in the workplace, which Speaker Companies is directly engaged in and is fully aware of. So that's also relevant to their time in federal prison.
It's threatening your life. That's P.O.C. That's a threat while monitoring with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. So is Marie Front Salon. Engineer light moves all across the building. And then waving hi to. That's exactly what Universal Waste engages in. It's not the product of sunlight. And these are demons who are...
So this is what the entity is doing at 9:34. I continue my discussion. As you see in this video, engineer light moves across the apartment building. This is textbook demon possession and the acts of the hostile, the mentally deranged people of the state who provide more evidence regarding the fact that they are indeed demon possessed and that they are in fact group stalkers and that they are acting with the state that is exhibiting demon possession, engaging in demonic activity together, in other words, while they engage in this conduct that's occurring in a circus. So I'm not going to run and be scared from it. I'm going to prosecute it. I'm going to highlight and underscore it and use it as an example to show the world about what Satan looks like and what Satan is doing amongst the people in the U.S. And it's unconstitutional, by the way. Okay, so this is the reality of what's happening in the unnatural environment. All right, the engineered light. Let me try one more time to try to zoom in to see if you can see it at a closer angle. Yeah, there it is across the, let me move forward a little bit. So here you go. It's moving across the, off the orange colored wall while he is in movement, driving off the property. So you can see it very large right here under the window. Oops, sorry. Okay, that light activity. So you can review this video on your own time, but I just want you to see what is direct evidence. This is engineered light. Sunlight is not ricocheting off of your, this is the passenger side. While you're driving a car under what's supposed to be the sun, you can indeed see that light source off of the back of that vehicle, which is a position that is not going to be over through the windshield. This is the driver's side of the vehicle. I am still at this time on the 2 freeway, and it's visible through the passenger side of the window coming from the Glendale DMV. And so you can clearly see the light source that's not going to be on Alvarado Street in this manner, which would be seen through, not through the windshield of the vehicles that are driving off of the property through the parking lot, through Sam Rickman's rear windshield. This position that you see at 936 is not going to be seen through the rear windshield of this third party's vehicle. Again, that's the evidence of, first of all, it's not even the sun. And second of all, that engineer light has nothing to do with sunlight. Sunlight doesn't do that. And this is a person that's terrorizing you, and they're doing so as, let me be clear, one demon exhibiting terrorism via directed light. They represent all of that population. The population's group stalking you together with the government. The entity engages in what is group stalking, terrorizing you together, while you see even one of them stalking in the path with engineered light. Okay, so just want to make sure you understand the analysis behind it, and that's also the spiritual reality. These demons are actually very timid. They act in packs. Okay, and they are fearful. But while they are fearful, they also continue. Okay, you have mentally deranged, fearful, and demon-possessed actors that are stalking in helicopters. That's a very dangerous combination. Okay, you're engaging in stuff that results in people losing their lives because of your condition, and then you're also fearful of the fact that it's being exposed, but you're still engaging in more terrorism, stalking in a helicopter. Like, that's mental instability. That sort of, I mean, you shouldn't be stalking in helicopters, period, but I want to let you know the reality. These demons are very fearful, but yet they're still engaging in more terrorism. That's a very dangerous and life-threatening combination. Okay, that's how people come up dead. And then the government that's abusing their positions, they make up a narrative regarding what happened to that person, what law they violated, how they came and threatened that law enforcement officer, and all the witnesses who are the people that stay bearing false witness about what happened. And then the camera on their person that's supposed to capture it, oh, it wasn't on, or the footage is cut off. I've seen it. They engaged in kidnapping me, and in their fictitious exercise of authority in the courts, the entirety of that video was cut off. It was removed. They only showed the part where they approached me, engaged in an unlawful search, engaged in assault and battery, pulling me out of my car, having no right to do so. First of all, because you're group stalking, and second of all, because it's an unlawful search. You don't have any exception to open up my car door. And how do you even know where I'm at? How do you know it's my car? How do you know what I look like? All of this is all relevant to, again, Jay Burnett, who's documented group stalking very heavily, and he engaged in this act. And then we're the entity at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. I'm going to stop digressing. I'm going to stop in a second, but I'm giving you context. In the court, where they're exercising fictitious authority, seeking to obstruct justice, the camera footage that's on their person, all they do is cut it off, and you won't get the assault and battery, covering up their physical violence, making up information about what they thought at the time. And based on how fearful they are, whether you actually are released from kidnapping or whether they keep you because they're convinced that they have enough to support their criminal act, which is appearing under the malicious guise of, oh, well, this is the evidence and this is what we prosecuted them based on the witnesses, based on the evidence that they have, concealing the fact that they're engaged in surveillance as a state. I've seen it. And then not only have I seen it, I've experienced it. So I see the ways in which they're engaging. There is no probable cause. There is no reasonable the state, LAPD, they are showing you that it's a fiction. they're stalking in helicopters, and they're pulling people over like they don't know where you're coming from. The moment you're pulling your pants down, who it is that you're in front of when you're pulling your pants down. I want to be clear, every aspect of your life, and then only a psychopath is doing that with a straight face. I want to be clear. That's what Satan is. Satan is intimately acquainted with every detail of your life. He's using a population to keep you under surveillance. Doing so through a government, I'm gonna prosecute you for that, because you don't have a right to do that. And that's what the demon possessed are doing while they're sitting in courts, sitting in police departments, sitting in sheriff's departments. And then that just trickles down into the state system while you represent a state agency as opposed to a third party business like speaker companies versus the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. I'm going to prosecute you as state action versus third party conduct that's vicariously done on behalf of the state. That's just providing rules and statutes to what is criminal conduct by the state in ways that have never been contemplated under federal law, because it's been maintained as a fallacy that group stalking is real. Not only is it real, it's criminal conduct by the government in the so-called free United States. So this is the light source that's in a position that is entirely impossible to be the case. While you could see it through the rear of the Explorer that's driving out of the parking lot, yet at the 9:30, not even yet, we're at 9:33, 9:35, I'm approaching on Glendale Boulevard, which would be not seen through the windshield of this third party's vehicle. It would be on the opposite side. It wouldn't be over my head at the leasing office, in other words. This is speaking to the impossibility with regard to also, you know that that's a demon because engineer light's moving across the building. So I want to go ahead and let you see this video.
That's P.O.C. That's a threat while monitoring with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. So is Marie Front Salon. Engineer light moves all across the building. And then waving hi to. That's exactly what universal waste engages in. It's not the product of sunlight. And these are demons.
And then a mentally unstable third party who knows that they're being made an example, and the fact that their demon possession is being exposed comes to my door, threatening my life is the reality of what's going on. This is ongoing life-threatening conduct I'm subject to as a property manager, subject to federal group stalking and monitoring. And that demon comes and places a work order. I'm going to prosecute speaker companies, the people of the state, for that. Okay, now you're understanding all the ways you're going to prosecute the government.
Are sitting around looking at what I'm examining on my phone, and they engage in this lawlessness. These demons, these psychopaths, exhibit the threat that's animating demons such as Dominic Choi, demons that are stalking in helicopters, demons that have access to armored vehicles, demons that are a part of the sheriff's department, demons that are group stalking bearing weapons, stalking and flying over my head in helicopters because they're hostile.
Now, remember, at the same time, I'm coming up Clifford Street. What you see in this video right now, where I am facing the hillside in Silverview, you can see
what they know I'm documenting on my phone.
Hold on, go back. This is Silverview, where you see this is a demon stalking in the path with the method of light activity. The light source is moving over this property after I'm coming up Clifford and then driving down Alvarado. The light source, as you see it over me in this video right now, while I'm facing the hillside, is in a position that is under no circumstances behind me at the same time that it's in front of me. That's the people of the state calling the office. The same thing the entity does by knocking on the door. Same thing the entity does by stalking in a helicopter while they're witnessing me expose them. So nonetheless, you're looking at what is impossible to be occurring at the same time. This is nowhere near Clifford Street. It's not near Glendale Boulevard, where I am getting off the 2 freeway, being driven down Glendale, driving up Clifford, and then coming down Alvarado, where the light source moves across the apartment complex.
Drop off Erica. This is the absence of the sun over Alvarado Gardens, which is
in this position. There's no sun that's going to be seen through the windshield through the rear windshields of Samuel Rickman and the third party driving the blue Explorer. And also, it has nothing to do with the engineered light that moved across that apartment building while that fake sun remains over my head at Alvarado Gardens, which is clearly what you see at the same time while I'm capturing this video. Okay. Now
I was on the freeway. I was at the DMV.
This is the intersection of Clifford and Alvarado Street right here. You can see the street sign. This is Silverview Townhomes. This is Silverview Townhomes where I am.
In helicopters because they're hostile to what they know I'm documenting on my phone.
This is Silverview Townhomes right here, adjacent to the property, where a demon is stalking in the path using a weed whacker. All right, and the light source is in a position to move across. You see where it's at the top? This is the property right here at the bottom that's adjacent to Alvarado Gardens, and it's moving in alignment with me as the car turns, the light source turns and goes in that direction. Okay, and doing so while I am remaining stationary out on this day at between 9:33 and 9:42 in the morning at Alvarado Gardens, and I'm being driven to Alvarado Gardens, and you're looking at
it moves as I move.
The light source.
The sun does not remain maintained.
In this position that you see at the top, starting at 9:36 in the morning coming up Clifford, there's no sun that's going to be seen through the windshields, the back windshields of those third-party vehicles. That's what I'm stating. But that's what you see while it's remaining over me at Alvarado Gardens. That is not the sun, however. Okay. It's also not the sun while it's remaining over me in an entirely distinct location, entirely distinct region, which I also fully expose. For example, what would be Arrow and Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. I am standing in the middle of the street documenting the people of the state under a fake sun around engineered light that's moving all across the asphalt and buildings while I am looking at the Upland Public Library and the Upland City Hall, 9:36 in the morning. Okay, so that's again the entity's pattern of conduct. It's already on the record, and I'm letting you know while I'm literally coming off the freeway from DMV where there was no sun. Okay, there's no sun over Alvarado Gardens. It's clearly over me while I am driven back to Alvarado Gardens, which you can see. This is Silverview.
Ubiquitous presence at the same place everywhere that you're going, regardless of whether that is stationary all day long. 9 HUE 802 is crossing path. Engineered environment follows. It's now over Silverview.
Actually able
9 HUE 802 is crossing path. Everywhere that you're maintain an ubiquitous presence at the same place everywhere that you're going, regardless of whether that is stationary all day long. 9 HUE 802 is crossing path. While that you're going, regardless of whether that is stationary all day long. 9 HUE 802.
You can see again the light source that's remaining as you pay attention to the angle of light activity that appears on vehicles while they're crossing path. You can see
802 is crossing path. While that engineered environment follows, it's now over Silverview Townhomes, and now it's going to be over.
All right, so this is the same location where I'm facing. This driveway is adjacent to, it's perpendicular to where I'm standing here. And this location is not going to be seen outside of the windshields of any of these demons who are crossing past Samuel Rickman's vehicle or this third party's vehicle while they're driving off of the property. This is what you're seeing at the back of the vehicle. This is in direct conflict with what nature dictates, what nature would require. If that was the sun, at the same time being driven to the address and also remaining at the address. So I just want to be clear, the entity is engaging in conduct that's suggesting the impossible, that the sun is maintaining presence everywhere, both in front of you and behind you, meaning outside of my living room window and outside of my bedroom window at the same time. And also remaining over me at the address of the Ovid Family Community Library in Ontario and over my head while I'm at the California DMV and outside of my living room window while I'm standing in front of my leasing office at Alvarado Gardens, all at the same time. The only thing that maintains that presence over all of us at the same time is the sky, not the sun. The object itself, in the same way that you see it in this video, is not over Silverview Townhomes while I'm turning around. I'm turning my person around to capture it over the top of my head, facing, not Silverview, facing my leasing office, facing the hillside. And so this is speaking to the pattern of conduct, and it doesn't move throughout the duration of this video. Okay, so just pointing out all the ways in which you can analyze and pay attention, and it is the irreducible and insurmountable evidence of not only demon possession. That's indeed a group stalker who's engaging. Now you're aware of the environment that they're in, and everything that's occurring in this demonic environment is pursuant to demon possession. And it's called malice. And they're creating audible activity, stalking in the path while a light source is over that property in a manner that would be impossible. It would be in front of me if at the same time this light source is at 6 on June 5th at 9:36 in the morning. Okay, so
6:03 in the morning in alignment with vehicles in the parking lot. You can see it all over the bodies of the vehicles. It's not through my living room window. It's right over in that parking lot while demons are stalking in the path, just like they are right now. Okay, everybody that you just saw is going to federal prison. That whole property, Silverview Town, Alvarado Gardens, and all of the people of the state with a straight face are group stalking. Just, this is what I mean. It's not even intelligent. It's just.
All right, so this is where you're seeing Samuel Rickman and the third party driving the Blue Explorer are in front, if you will, of the fake sun that's over me as I'm facing my leasing office. This is the front of Alvarado Gardens, and you see me facing the front of Alvarado Gardens, and there's no sun in this direction. You can see the light source. That's, again, there's no sun there. And you can see the light source through the windshields of their vehicles as they're driving off of the property, which is, again, speaking to what is impossible. It's directly relevant to witnessing the exposure of demon possession in the state of California, and it manifests itself through the group stalking, the criminal conduct of the state. that is under this condition engaging in stalking in helicopters, doing so while they are keeping me under surveillance on the video of the internet, and engaging in ongoing increased hostility and aggression while an entire population is under no circumstances avoiding the prosecution for the criminal system that seeks to engage in. I want to be clear. This light activity that you're seeing while he is reversing and driving by, this is speaking to the light source that's behind, and it's not in front like you're seeing on June 5th, 2024. Okay, this is a demon that's going out of their way to say hi in the same way that he is coming and placing a work order to target me, to terrorize me, to threaten me. And passive aggressive demons engage in this conduct as a society. Where in America, terrorism is underway while in service of Satan, massive demon possession. Those who are turned over to Satan knowingly and unknowingly, but nonetheless knowingly and intentionally engaging in criminal conduct. Okay, they might not know that you're doing that because you're demon possessed. So there are many that will come to Christ upon realization. There are many that have voluntarily turned themselves over. And as I encounter you, I'm going to prosecute you for it. All right. But this is what the world needs to learn. This is an impossible placement of sunlight if the sun is indeed over me while I'm in the Uber being driven to what is the entrance of the apartment complex at the same time. All right. Which is where I remain while this third party is engaging in what is a spectacular method of communicating a threat to me while he's aware of the fact that I'm prosecuting him as I go to the gym in the morning and that which is impossible surrounds me. Okay. Which is the communication of a threat repeatedly underway while you're documenting and enforcing your rights.
100% demonic. Thank you. It's 9:36 a.m.
That's the entity maintaining that.
That's P.O.C. That's a threat. While
that's what you're mindful of. Well,
psychopaths are exhibiting hostility while they're.
And the entity is maintaining
screenshots as I'm capturing so that you can see both the demonic pacing of the people and the ongoing maintenance of the elements of monitoring while the crime scene is the unnatural environment that surrounds me at an entirely different location. Through the living room blinds of my apartment here at Alvarado Gardens, facing this hillside, and you're looking at the light activity that the people of the state, the same people of the state, these same demons, the same lawlessness in concert with the demons stalking a helicopter. That's what I documented at Planet Fitness, and I'm going to drain the pockets dry of Planet Fitness because this terrorism is what they're engaging in. This life-threatening conduct. That same entity, that demon-possessed entity, broke into my car, engaged in kidnapping. We're group stalking on this day in 2022, where I'm showing the light source that's never over Alvarado Gardens. That's what I'm capturing.
And it's also not over the front of the apartment complex. This is a building, what you're looking at right here. This is a building 1818. This is the front entrance of the apartment complex. And after passing over Silverview townhomes, and I'm facing two separate directions. I'm facing the front of the apartment complex right here, and I am facing the back hillside at the bottom. And this is where the entity is stalking in helicopters and engaging in massive surveillance on the video of the internet, threatening my life and harassing me, and doing so also while I'm on the job, trying to use my job as a means to engage in more monitoring conduct and threatening conduct, and also seeking to obstruct justice by, I want you to do something regarding my manufactured circumstances. Oh, I have power out. He can literally be sitting there with power out. You're dealing with the demonic where they will create that circumstance. I'm going to document, and then I will be subject to what is the ongoing terrorism in the workplace, where I'm being subject to the P.O.C. as a property manager who has to be in the presence of this terrorizing entity in the workplace. So this is facing two different locations, and this is speaking to what is absolutely impossible. And this is what I mean when I'm using terms such as asininity, and it is directly probative. You are getting a front row seat into the mind state of those who are disqualified from their leadership positions while this demon possession is exhibited, while this lawlessness, while this criminal conduct, this public corruption is exposed, and also simultaneously giving you the relevant context regarding additional bases upon which you will be permanently removed from the position you're currently holding for somebody else. Okay, it is
while they're providing ongoing evidence regarding the terrorism that they're not only engaging in against American citizens in this country, which is what I'm pointing to, they're doing it in other countries. So if there is question regarding what the United
So I want to get to
showing the psychopaths, the delusional and deranged like they're aiming weapons like they're. This is what they're doing 24/7 while they are engaging in surveillance. That psychopath's going to federal prison. That's a threat to your life. And they do this with openly. You're not exercising any freedoms. This is demonic activity and it's terrorism by a mentally deranged population.
and understand the significance of it. It's terrorism while they're engaging in monitoring while just walking around in the engineer light. That's the significance while it's simultaneously showing your demon possession while engineer light moves across an apartment building, which has nothing to do with sunlight and driving a car. And nor can you even contend I'm stripping you of your entire illusion, Satan, when you are in federal court and the evidence of what's not the natural environment and what is conduct that has nothing to do with the natural environment. It's placed in an entirely different location. This is not possibly the natural environment, nor is that behavior has anything to do with a product of the natural environment. And it is also relevant to what I happen to be coincidentally engaging in, documenting the fact that the government's engaged in surveillance and all the demonic methods whereby that is underway.
And I'm going to prosecute the whole population. You're witnessing it. P.O.C. All right. I want to be clear. It's currently 9:37 in the morning. This is the light source that's remaining over me. Remember, I went to the DMV on June 5th, 2022. I am driving up Clifford at the same exact time, and I'm arriving at the entrance where you see these demons, Marie Front Salon and the African-American driver in the blue Explorer and the LAPD who are group stalking in helicopter, and they're providing evidence against the demons that are the Glendale police, speaking to what is the unnatural environment, and that which I'm also showing while I am at the Planet Fitness. This is a whole body of evidence. The so-called sunrise that's now visible, documented at Planet Fitness through the windows of that Planet Fitness gym, engineered light while they're pacing inside of the gym.
All right, so this is just speaking to, well, I'm not even facing the direction of Alvarado Street. The light source remains over my head, and this is relevant what the entity is doing. Engaged in ongoing harassment, threatening my life on a ceaseless basis, okay? The entity engaged in ongoing criminal acts of obstruction of justice, which is built into what the state's pattern of conduct is. The corrupt government that's engaging in what is violating so-called freedoms in the United States engages in an ongoing criminal act, a system seeking to silence American citizens who are subject to it, and also seeking to silence them in multiple ways, if not kidnapping you inside of the facilities here and then calling it justice, or kidnapping you inside of facilities and then calling it a mental illness, engaging in what is damaging your personal property, such as stealing my car, or as I've documented, and then denying you justice when you sue that entity in court. Reference Erica Lorraine Spencer v. Bill and Wags. At the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, where that entity, a documented group stalker, engaged in the outright deprivation of justice. I mean, just play that's what you're faced with when the government is engaging in this, and the ongoing methods of obstruction of justice, thinking that they can, and not thinking this is what they engage in, and so I'm prosecuting for all of it. Evading service of process by the state, theft of personal property by the state. Harassment in the workforce, meaning job to job to job, harassment in the workplace, and being unlawfully relieved while I am reporting it to the people of the state who make up the Human Resources Department, Heather Teal. Okay. But also when I was practicing law, I just want to be clear, this is a pattern by the state. This is the government that is literally infecting every area of your life to destroy your existence and your ability to survive in this so-called free land. All right. And this is how the system of terrorism is occurring practically in everyday life. When the government is actually your employer, when the government is actually your neighbor, when the government is actually those who you may be dating or living with, going to school with, it's actually a superficial distinction where the government is engaging in the system. And it's also revealing what is demon possession. So that's how you have this impossible occurrence. And what is impossible is
P.O.C.
anything other than criminal conduct by the state as it's fully exposed. That's what's impossible, that you will avoid being prosecuted for that criminal conduct that I am exposing.
Fake son over me, stalking by helicopter. And he's documented group stalking very heavily with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. He's in the same parking lot in the middle of the...
So hold on, let's just see.
Helicopter, and he's documented group stalking very heavily with LAPD. He's going to federal prison. He's in the same parking lot in the middle of the afternoon while this fake son is in the same position. He's with Marie Front Salon. They're both going to federal prison. He's engaged in strategic placement while the demons are acting in sync. So the demons will fly over. He's in a building. He walks out, moves the vehicle, engineer light across the building. 6ZXK642, again, Marie Front Salon. And this is exactly what the entity is doing at Planet Fitness. Every license plate that I've documented, they're going to be prosecuted as terrorists. They're engaging in the identical pattern of conduct. There's no sunrise through my living room window. There's no sunshine that's going to hit on the building.
And there also is no sun that would be anywhere over Alvarado Gardens as I'm facing that direction. And you're seeing the absence of any sun over there. It's not over Silverview Townhomes. It's behind me as I have to turn around to get that light source coming out of my leasing office. All right. And that's the P.O.C. It is currently 11:20 a.m. And just as an aside, I will also show you where I was at on this day in 2022. And it is nowhere sharing any environment with Alvarado Gardens while I am staying in an entirely different region. And the entity is maintaining a light source all outside of the bounds of, excuse me, that's the 26th, today is the 27th, all outside of the bounds of nature. Okay, 11:04, it's 11:21. The light source remains over me. And I'm at the Motel 6 in Ontario. And this is the shadow of the rails inside of room 127. This is impossible light activity, not only based on its placement, and you can pay attention to what the sun and sunlight would appear as, not light that's bending, engaging in gymnastics, reaching underneath covered structures, but also because the light source, which is supposedly the sun, is over me in Alvarado Gardens. That's how you know it's impossible also. The entity is maintaining this light source. This is the shadow of the rail appearing flat on the ground. The shadow of the trees that are upright appearing flat on the ground. This is where the entity is stalking helicopters. Okay, that's the demon possession of Dominic Choi and the people that are stalking apart and masquerading as law enforcement agencies, and they're actually terrorist organizations. This is revealing that very superficial and thin veneer where we are not different from third world countries, where the exact same terrorism of so-called American citizens is underway. And this is a light source that's over me at 11:04 in the morning when I'm at this Motel 6 in Ontario, California. It's directly over the palm tree. It's directly over the top of my head as I'm capturing it at 12 o'clock. You know where the light source is going to be at 12 o'clock? The same place that it's at right now, that I'm documenting on an ongoing basis, and it's right here over my head. P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently again 11:22. That is again the entity sounding helicopter flying over while they're keeping me under surveillance, knowing exactly what I'm pointing out on my phone, and they will be again removed from the positions. You're understanding the mental instability that is a demon-possessed Dominic Choi, and that demonic and corrupt leadership is resulting in this stalking by police agencies. This is why you have what is stalking and unheard of methods in the United States, stalking an American citizen in a helicopter, which is a direct threat to your life and your safety. Okay, it is currently 11:22 a.m. and this is P.O.C.